What is good? We're back. We got a week 11 sit-start show for your pleasure. My man, Chev. I'm Casey. How you doing, Chev?
Hey, man. It's week 11. We're about to get into some diabolical business.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, you were marked safe from the J.K. Dobbins sabbatical, but we'll get into what we get into here.
That's right. A lot of happenings right now. A lot of decisions being made on where you're at, especially redraft wise. A lot of make or break probably weeks this week. So, all right, let's jump into these running back matchups. We got every matchup for your pleasure. Before we start, I'm going to just quickly glance over to what the model's projecting in that top 12 range of running backs. You got all your regular customers, right? You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Etienne, you got Josh Jacobs, you got Bijan Robinson coming in at 4. You got James Cook, Saquon Barkley, and then Jalen Warren's coming in at 7 on the model, and above Jahmyr Gibbs. And then 9, Javonte Williams, 10, Ashton Genty, 11, Derrick Henry, and 12, the model has Kyron Williams in there. So that's kind of your top 12 players. And then as me and Chev go down through these weekly matchups, we'll kind of get into some of those mid-tier players. And really, those guys are going to be the more important conversations that we have. Everybody knows we're mostly starting those guys, right, Chev? So
absolutely.
Let's jump into the matchups here. We got San Fran versus Arizona. Like I said, Christian McCaffrey, you're playing him. And on the Arizona side now, we do have a bit of a conversation because is Trey Benson coming back? Is he not coming back? I would say even if he is coming back, I'm probably not playing him this week. But to me, it's got to be Demercado this week if you're kind of looking for that fringe streaming almost option, right?
Look, there's just no way that we can ignore what's going on here. Like Demercado, to me, has proven everything that we wanted to see from him. Like, I like him a lot, and he's bigger than what you're giving him credit for. He's listed at 5'9", 215. So it's not just a scat back, but he's incredible in space. So I can't ignore what he's done, even though he did the one really dumb thing and Jonathan Gannon punched him. But since then, after he hurt his ankle and took his little time out, he's been okay.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like the best one of those guys. I know he didn't get quite as much burn as Zonovan did last week, but I think he's working his way back up. We talked about San Fran in the streaming part of this episode. I just feel like there's not a whole lot of teeth there, and I think Demercado, if you're looking for kind of a more of a streaming option, I think he's a decent play this week. So moving on, we got the Commanders at the Dolphins. On the Dolphins side, it's Etienne, right? And we don't really have to discuss much else. But the Commander side is kind of like that Arizona team that we just talked about, right? Nobody really knows what to make of anybody to play there. Do you feel any type of way about any of these running backs?
No. And that's unfortunate.
Right.
It's really unfortunate. Like, I would love to have something way cooler to say than that, but I don't feel great. I don't feel great about it by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and I think if no Rodriguez, maybe I feel a little more comfortable with a Croskey-Merritt in this situation, right? Rodriguez looked like he was maybe coming along, and I like kind of what we were seeing there, and now a little injury in this last game. If no Rodriguez, any merit to Bill, pun intended?
I mean, you trust Bill like you trust a wet fart in an elevator.
Yeah, like would you rather play Croskey-Merritt or somebody like a Demercado or Devin Singletary?
I would play Demercado at this point. I would certainly play Demercado over Bill Croskey-Merritt. And again, we have to adapt to the new information. And the new information is the guy who was the highest rated rusher in PFF just hasn't done anything for our fantasy teams since they put that stat out there. So forget the Madden curse. You got the PFF curse now.
That's right. Yeah, no, I would probably say I would play Bill over the Giants running backs. But I'd be kind of interested in Demercado. It'd be neck and neck there. I'd be kind of come down to a coin flip situation. If no Chris Rodriguez, I might go Demercado over Singletary, but maybe Bill over Singletary, and then Demercado over Croskey-Merritt there. So let's keep it moving. We got Giants versus Green Bay. Josh Jacobs, stud, always in the top 10, right? No need to talk over there. On the Giants side, we kind of brought up Singletary there for a second. Any lean on playing either one of these two guys if you don't have to?
I bet you there are a lot of people who are forced into a situation where you're having to trust Tyrone Tracy a lot more than what you want to. And it's uncomfortable, but we can do it. 14 for 71 last week. He did kind of the backfield share reverted from a rushing standpoint. But also now we're talking about Devin Singletary, who goes 3 for 53 through the air. So again, we get Tyrone Tracy not being used as a former wide receiver, and they're using other running backs for this. And then on top of that, we might not have Jackson Dart, who's kind of unlocking the rushing floor. He's doing what the mobile quarterbacks do for their running backs and allowing them to have rush lanes. So, there's a nuanced concept to that we don't have to get into right now. But the point is, if there's no Jackson Dart and it's just old man Moonball Russ out there, I can't play either one of these guys against this Packers team.
Yeah, I don't, regardless of who's out there, we got a regime change. We got a coaching change. I don't know how they're going to use these. Maybe we get some more clarity here. I don't really want to play any of them. The Packers have a good defense. I'm going to pass on both of those guys, unless I absolutely have to. And then coin flip on which one, because the usage has been all over the place. And then again, we have a new head coach coming in. I have no idea who's going to get what. So, all right, keeping it moving. We got a division matchup. We got Carolina at Atlanta. Rico Dowdle for sure. Bijan Robinson for sure. And then all set, or is Allegeier a streaming option if you're really, really hurting right now?
Man, he's got to be a streaming option. He's got to, because he's got to be a part of the Falcons game plan, according to Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. Mm-hmm. So it's it's bag season for Tyler Allegeier. So he's probably he's looking for a new contract. He's performed really, really well, admirably, 1,000-yard rusher before Bijan got there. And he's maintained a role even when we know Bijan should be getting a lot more, getting used like a CMC because he's in that ilk. But he's got Tyler Allegeier, which is the Brian Robinson to CMC. But in Atlanta, they value Brian Robinson East a lot more than they do out West. So Tyler Algier is firmly in the streaming conversation for me this week.
Yeah, you want to roll with Bill or you want to roll with Algier?
Algier.
Oh, quick answer, huh?
Yes, sir. Listen. And tell me if I'm tripping. I just don't understand what we can do with Bill if they're only giving him about 10 carries and they're not using him in a passing game, and he's not breaking any tackles or explosive runs or doing anything meaningful. And now Chris Rodriguez is stealing the goal line work. Jeremy McNichols is taking the passing down work. So he's a between the 20s banger that's 200 pounds and not breaking tackles. Give me time.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I just think maybe we're getting a hair over our skis because of how Algier finished that game last week. I don't know if we'll see the same thing. We shall see. My main thing is just if no Rodriguez, I lean with a little more of like, let's see if I could get something big out of Croskey-Merritt here in that one. But I think Tyler Algier is obviously the better player, but he's just got Bijan in front of him, and I think we got excited about what Algier can be from seeing what he did to close that game out, or kind of close that game out at the end of last week going to overtime. So yeah. All right, let's keep it moving here. A little Algier love. All right, next matchup, we've got Tampa Bay at Buffalo.
Hey guys, quick reminder. If you haven't signed up for the free Discord or the free Patreon, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description.
On the Buffalo side, it's James Cook and nobody else, right? Now, on the Tampa side, we've got a new emergence here in Sean Tucker really climbing the ladder here and looking like a really competent, solid running back. So how do we feel about Rachaad White and or Sean Tucker? Can we play both? Are you more bullish on one or the other? Or give me your thoughts on this Tampa backfield here.
Now, I do need to get into the all 22 and figure out what was going on with Rachaad White and Sean Tucker last week. Sean Tucker became the first running back this season in 2025 to rush for more than 50 yards against the Patriots. He did it on 3 less carries than Rachaad White got. Rachaad White, I believe, was 12 for 38. Sean Tucker's 9 for 53. And, this is in his profile. He's an explosive back. It's just, we saw it last year against New Orleans. He's just lacking opportunity. It's kind of a situation like Michael Turner back in the day for all us 30 plus guys who've been playing for a minute. Michael Turner being trapped in the backfield with Darren Sproles and LaDainian Tomlinson back in the day. This is a good fucking running back, guys. And, if he's given the opportunity to do so, he's going to produce. But all that being said, I'm still playing Rachaad White because it's a much safer bet. But if you're desperate, and we talked about this on the waiver show, Sean Tucker's a fine flex play this week. Buffalo's not what they've been in the front 7 against the run.
Injuries are piling up over there too.
The first week post Ed Oliver torn biceps, they go out and allow 175 yards. Devon Etienne had over 200 yards of total offense last week. I do think they're going to get that corrected in some marginally. Like, it's not going to be 170 yards from every running back's not fucking Devon Etienne either. So, but what I'm trying to say is that they have a run defense problem right now. They're just not very strong against the run. So both of these guys are good plays. I would play Rachaad White, but Sean Tucker is a comfortable flex play for me this week if I'm desperate.
Yeah, I'm definitely scooping up and stashing Sean Tucker if available, but I don't mind rolling Rachaad White at all this week. And on the other side, like you said, we're going James Cook all day long. So on the next matchup, we've got Detroit at Philadelphia. You've got Gibbs and you've got David on the other side. Obviously Gibbs is a top play every week, and Saquon on the other side is the play and nobody else. But David Montgomery, where do you see David Montgomery kind of slotting in this week? Would you play David Montgomery over, let's say, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason this week?
This week, so this has been kind of an interesting thing. Obviously, David Montgomery goes crazy against the Bengals, but who doesn't go crazy against the Bengals? I was a little bit. This week I'm a little bit more tepid. I was a little bit more bullish a couple weeks ago when we talked about it. Last week I was still pretty comfortable because of the matchup. It was a great matchup, but it just turned into Jahmyr Gibbs turned into prime Jamal Charles. So I'm less bullish on this matchup, and I think it's more of a Jahmyr Gibbs in space kind of game. So I'm playing Aaron Jones over him this week. I don't like saying that, but yes, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, we've got David right in between Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason this week, and the model has David Montgomery a little lower than that. I believe the model has him at RB 30 there, so we've got him at 25. So somewhere in that mix is where we're slotting David Montgomery in, and then Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley. Next matchup, we've got Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, the little rematch from Thursday night a couple of weeks ago. Chase Brown, how are we feeling about him this week?
I like Chase Brown this week. I think that this offense is as desperate as desperate can be after blowing two really, really sad fourth quarter. Like, you get the good news. How much better does this season feel with you coming off of 2 nail biter wins against other bad team? Well, no, the Bears aren't a bad team, but against a bad team, and then a game that you really should have won against the Bears. Like, you just feel great about where they're at. And I feel good about where Chase Brown is with Joe Flacco. I mean, before the bye, he had a 14 target game. So I feel great about Chase Brown. What about you on the Pittsburgh side? What is there What are your thoughts there? Because we talked about Arthur Smith being on that bullshit, and he's been on that bullshit lately, but he's been feeding Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Brown, we've got them up one spot from the model, so model has him at 19. We have him at 18. Still like Chase Brown play, but the Jaylen Warren thing, I mean, the model has him at RB7. So pretty confident in your Jaylen Warren play this week. Now we bumped him down to about 11, so we've got a 4-spot difference there. We've put guys like Kyron, Javonte, and Genty above him. But then after that, like, I mean, I've got a whole lot of confidence in Jaylen Warren this week playing against, a solid matchup there. Derrick Henry, Rico Dowdle, you could say, I mean, pretty much you're playing probably all of these guys at this point. It's not like an either or. You're figuring out how to get all three of those guys, inside your lineup, really. But a lot of playing Warren with a ton of confidence right now. And I think this is a smash spot, and the model agrees. So I like that. And then Gainwell, that would be like a spot start if you needed it. But, pick him up if you can stash him away just in case something happens to Jaylen Warren in this game, and you have a spot. But other than that, Jaylen Warren, and that's it.
All right. Real quick before we get out of here, Kenneth Gainwell or Sean Tucker this week? It's tough, isn't it?
Probably Sean Tucker.
Yeah. See, that's where I landed, and I was really uncomfortable with that. But I'm warming up to the idea the more that I look at the Bills giving up 147 yards a game rushing.
Yeah, the last time they played Cincinnati, Gainwell just really hasn't been, mixing in there super heavy. There's been enough targets for the most part here and there, but nothing spectacular. The Bucks seem way more willing to give a chunk of carries to Sean Tucker, and he's got some explosion to his game where he could take one. So I'd rather go Tucker if I needed to stream one.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the same boat.
All right. We got Cowboys at Vegas. We got Javonte and we got Genty. Both great plays this week, I think. Your thoughts? Anything that you need to extrapolate on that?
Nah, play both of them, please.
Yeah.
Or if you're playing me, I would not play either one of these guys if you're playing against me specifically this week. It's the worst matchup ever.
Yeah. Baltimore at Cleveland. Derrick Henry, Quinshon Judkins, we're good, right?
Yeah, submit, log out. Again, no, I don't have to do the disclaimer every single time. If you're playing against Casey, don't play either one of those guys.
Seahawks at LA, great matchup. Excited about this one. But unfortunately, the Sharps Kenny Walker thing has become a very difficult pill to swallow, right? I mean, how are you playing this?
I got into an argument on Twitter with some child of God that decided it would be a good idea to victory lap Zach Charbonnet over Kenneth Walker. And the fact that Kenneth Walker averages more fantasy points per game, is more efficient on a per touch basis. But the Seahawks still decide to just give Zach Charbonnet carries inside the 5-yard line. And that's what keeps him relevant. It's not comfortable. Like, we were talking about this before the show started, and we were talking about the fact that, I want both of these guys to be in the top 30 because I do believe that they're both really good. But we can't do it because, one, Zach Charbonnet just doesn't get yards. And Kenneth Walker just doesn't score touchdowns, apparently. We're going on a 6-game streak or a 5-game streak. Plus, I guess they were on bye here at one point or another. But he hasn't scored since week 4. So,
right.
We're just hoping, like, he's getting Bud killed. Like, Clint Kubiak is Bud Kilmering the shit out of Kenneth Walker right now. If you're old enough to understand that reference, you understand that reference.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm both guys are, if you got to play them, you can play them. They're not going to absolutely kill you either one. If Kenny Walker would just get in the end zone, his weeks would be fine, right?
You'd feel phantasmal.
The model's putting Kenny at 30, RB 34 and Charbonnet at 37. We've got them roughly at 28 and 29. So kind of above the question marks of Bill and Tracy and Singletary and that Zona backfield, right? Those guys we have some questions of who's going to get it and how they're going to operate. We have some questions of who's going to get it in Seattle, but we know that the running game is really solid. Now, LA is a tough matchup, but I think, I feel better playing those guys, above all those kind of other question marks that we have down there. Your Tony Pollards of the world, right? So I'll play both of those guys over them, but not super excited about it.
No, and it's a crying shame because both of these guys you should be able to be excited about playing one or the other. I mean, last year, Kenneth Walker was one of the most exciting and explosive players, 16.5 fantasy points a game. This year, he's at around 10. Zach Charbonnet's at 8. They've completely split the backfield. Previously, it had been whenever Kenneth Walker was healthy, and that was the biggest question. Hey, Kenneth Walker, is he going to be healthy? Is he, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? But now it's more like, is Kenneth Walker going to get into the end zone?
Right.
And, it's like Zach Charbonnet. Is Zach Charbonnet going to get 4 carries inside the 5-yard line? Like what? It's just way too hard to predict right now. So you can start them, but you're just hoping for not a 3-point week from either one.
Right. And they really, it hasn't been that, you haven't gotten that a ton. Neither one of them has necessarily killed you per se most weeks, but it just hasn't been awesome. So on the other side, you're playing Kyren and we're moving on. Although you should be storing Blake Corum if you have a spot, because he looks decent. And if anything should happen to Kyren, he could be quite the moneymaker. So
the snap share there is slowly the stranglehold is no longer 85% of the snaps for Kyren Williams, and he's still producing, which is great for us. But that makes Blake Corum's value go up. So just wanted to say that before we move on.
Yeah, no, you should definitely be stashing him away if you can in redraft if you have a spot, or like when you have players, if they go on out and you can put them in the IR spot. I know a lot of redraft leagues do that. Pick up Corum and just in case something happens to Kyren Williams. So going to the next matchup, we got Jets at Patriots. It's Breece Hall and Isaiah Davis. I kind of feel the same way. Like if you have a spot and you can pick them up and you can just keep playing that game each week. If you have an out player that can go in the IR and you can pick up another guy, and you have Breece Hall, keep picking up Isaiah Davis, because if God forbid something happened to Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis I think is a solid running back.
Dude, he's more than solid. He's good.
Yeah, I think he's real good. So, and then really the other side is we don't know if what Ramondre's situation is with that toe, but TreVeyon Henderson, welcome to the party, pal. What are we doing?
Excited.
What are we doing with TreVeyon this week? How far up the number line does TreVeyon creep?
Just when we were ready to quit, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable with TreVeyon as that second tier RB play if there's no Ramondre Stevenson.
Right. The model has him at 14, up 18 spots from last week. We didn't move him. DeAndre Swift, Judkins, Chase Brown, kind of that range of player.
He'd be right there with Swift.
Right.
And probably ahead.
Yeah, Minnesota, Baltimore, potentially slightly tougher matchups than what the Jets could propose. Although we thought that it was going to be bad, and they really blew it up last week. They blew up that defense and seemed to get better. So the oddity probably won't continue for terribly long. But TreVeyon blew it up in his own right last week. So if he can get some touches, the explosion and everything was there. Obviously really highly ranked this week if no Ramondre. Now, if Ramondre comes in, how much expectation do you temper? Because I don't know. I think it would change it. I would be more comfortable with a Swift and a Judkins.
Yes.
But I still would want to get him in the lineup because I don't think it would be full on workload for Stevenson.
Be sure to follow us on the Twitters, the Instagrams, and the TikToks. Slide in them comments and help us beat the algorithm up. Like B.
I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle. And if you do, it's just Mike Vrabel being a dickhead to a rookie. Yeah. So Ramondre would then move as a low end RB2 flex play in the same. He'd be at the head of the class of the Sean Tuckers, the Sean Tuckers, and potentially right around, probably ahead of Aaron Jones. Like right there. Yeah.
I would still have him in the top 24 running backs.
Yeah. So I'm looking through. So the Kenneth Gainwell that we discussed earlier, would you play him over Zach Charbonnet?
Henderson?
No, Ramondre, if he's active.
Oh, if he's active. Probably not. I'd roll Charbonnet.
Okay. Because it's just that the matchup, right, is so juicy, and we can create a path like in the story to where Ramondre they're just killing the clock basically at some point, like late in the second quarter, and they're not having to do anything special. And that's a path for both running backs to get there.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. All right, so let's keep it moving here, Chev. Next matchup, we got Chargers at Jacksonville. Vidal came in, and you were maybe lacking some confidence after that week in Tennessee. Comes in against Pittsburgh, gets a ton of work. Only averages 3.8 a carry, gets the touchdown, 17 points though. So firing Vidal back up with a good bit of confidence. He's been pretty solid, up and down a little bit, but had the 3-point game and a 7-point game, but in between there, 22, 19, and 17, right? So I feel pretty confident about playing Vidal. Would you play RJ Harvey this week or Kimani Vidal?
RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey pretty confidently.
Yeah. It's not that it's just that the human in me that's not being analytical and that was really high on RJ Harvey is excited for him to get this role to himself, or at least be the lead dog, the J.K. Dobbins of the bunch, between him and Tyler Beatty and Leo McLaughlin
there, yeah,
right? Like whoever's playing running back, I'm excited about seeing RJ Harvey in that role as the leader for this week, more so than I am, this being a little bit tougher of a matchup for Kimani Vidal with the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they got going on, especially if Foyer, Aluakon, and Devin Lloyd are back to full strength.
Yeah, that would be big for Jacksonville. The model right now has Vidal at 17, and the model has Rachaad White above Vidal. Do you feel that way?
No,
I don't either.
Absolutely not. There's no evidence that you could point to that tells me that 23 attempts or the backfield share, the snap share for Kimani Vidal is going to be less fruitful than Rachaad White would be against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. And I love Rachaad White.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right. On the other side is Travis Hunter or Travis Etienne, and that's pretty much it. No love for Tootin right now, right?
Correct. Tootin's a stash.
Right. Of course. You got a stash.
The Chargers are a run funnel defense, so I would be a little bit more bullish on both of these options. Travis Etienne, you hit the nail on the head a couple weeks ago. You're like, I think you put in the group chat, like, Etienne is playing some really good football today. I forget who they were playing, but he's kind of carried that over. He was good last week against a game Texans defense too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's running hard right now. It's not necessarily crazy stat sheet stuff, but like I like the intensity and physicality he's playing with.
Agreed.
So I love where Etienne is right now, kind of moving forward. But Tootin certainly a stash. If anything should happen to ET, could be awesome. So all right, we got Bears at Vikings. Swift and the Monangai situation coming in. I don't think that situation got to work out like Ben Johnson maybe wanted it to. They got down and were playing from behind because I think they would have wanted more just rushing attempts in general, but it didn't work out that way. But still, DeAndre Swift in and out of practice all week led that backfield with a pretty sound lead in totes. So you feel pretty confident in Swift this week?
Absolutely. Okay. So we're looking at this Minnesota team that plays a league high percentage of cover two, which means that there's no safety support in the box. And with that, they're giving up about 130 yards a game rushing. And that's what Ben Johnson wants to do. The way you get Brian Flores out of all those crazy exotic looks is just to run the damn ball.
Right.
And Ben Johnson has shown a propensity to say, hey, Caleb, you're just going to put the ball in the running back's gut and it's going to lead to 4 fantasy points. And everybody goes back to saying Caleb sucks. And then, lo and behold, whenever they got to throw the ball, they got to throw it. But all that to be said, I love DeAndre Swift and I'm comfortable flexing Kyle Monangai. He would be probably the second most worthy flex behind Ramondre if Ramondre is active. I would play him over Sean Tucker. I would play him, over Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, I like that. We've got Swift a little higher than the model, 4 points higher. Model's got him at RB19. We're putting him in there at RB15, and then Monangai at RB27, and the model has Monangai at RB29. So, I'm Monangai over Walker and Sharps.
I can't go that far.
Okay, well then we can bump him down. We can bump him down and below those.
I don't want to be too
RB30 then.
Yeah.
29, somewhere in that range. Okay, I like it. And then on the other side, we kind of talked about it in the very beginning. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. What are we doing with that backfield?
Well, Bears are allowing about 130 yards a game rushing, so you can fire up Aaron Jones. I can't confidently play Jordan Mason anymore. It's been a while since I've seen him do good football. So,
right. I think I'm with you there. But the model still has Jordan Mason at 26, and they got Aaron Jones at 21. So inside the top 24 this week for Aaron Jones and Mason at 26. I'm with you. I got really, Mason or Kenny Walker or Sharps. How do you feel about that?
Kenny Walker and Sharps, even though that's a much tougher matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Mason there, but just by a hair, just because I like the matchup a little better and for Mason there. So
that's fair. I respect it. I'm just so trepidatious about Aaron Jones coming out and looking awesome and Jordan Mason just not doing a whole lot.
Yeah. All right, let's roll over to the Chiefs at Broncos. We've got Kareem Hunt, the ageless wonder. Is Pacheco playing this week? Is he back? Is he good to go?
It's gross. I don't know. I really.
I don't want anything to do with this. I'm good.
No,
I'm good on the Kansas City side.
Yeah, just no. That's your answer. Is, man, where do you have Pacheco ranked this week? No. Where do you have Kareem Hunt this week? Stop it.
Probably.
Where do you have
not.
Rashard Smith this week? It's in my heart.
Yeah. I mean, one of them might get in the end zone and be all right. And that's fine, but I'd like to find some other options if I could. And on the other side, how high are we placing RJ Harvey this week to hopefully potentially get the start? Or does you see a giant letdown spot where they'll just split it around and Harvey won't be as good as we think he's going to be?
Man, I'm higher than an astronaut's ass on a space station on RJ Harvey this week. Like, this is
tough matchup,
but I'm like I said, the human in me wants to see RJ Harvey as the lead dog, handling the Joker touches, getting, them scheming it up out of the backfield. I think that what we're going to see from Denver, because of the erratic play from Bo Nix throw picks, I think that they're going to have to lean on the running game a bit more and just really simplify things and keep things short and in front of them and stop doing all this weird gadgety stuff. So yeah, I like RJ Harvey, even though this is a tough matchup this week.
Yeah. We got RJ Harvey at RB18, just above Vidal, just above Rashard White. You feel good about that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm willing to, my feet are taped to the bicycle on this one.
Yeah. I think it would be crazy to not give him an opportunity here to see kind of what you can do. I feel like they've kind of been slow playing him. He's looked good when he's got the ball in his hands. Like you said, the passing down work should be at a premium for him at the very least this week. So I think we can confidently start RJ Harvey this week. It feels like to lead the show off next week will be like RJ Harvey bust, but I'm rolling with it.
I'm with you.
Not the best matchup, but I think he's going to get the opportunity to shine here. So
I agree.
All right, last matchup, we got Texans at Tennessee. Woody Marks, man, he's just becoming an every week start. He outpaced both of those guys on the team in touches last week, and confidently playing him inside the top 24 this week for us. And the models got him right outside the top 24. The models got him at 28. We've got him at 21. I think this is a great spot for Woody Marks to come out here and have a good startability in your lineup this week.
Yeah, man, nothing but bangers here. This is a smash spot for Woody Marks. So, he was coming off a career high in snaps played last week, and I mean, he looked awesome. We did get the scare where we thought that something, we were going to get robbed of Woody Marks season, but he came back and he balled out. So I think that this is a classic get right spot. So Tennessee, 6th in rushing yards allowed, 140 yards a game, 11th in rushes of 10 plus yards allowed. Like, this is a smash spot, and they've allowed 330 yards over rushing yards over expected on the season. Now, Big Jeff coming back could change things a bit, but like we were talking about before the show started, they give up a ton of explosive plays from a rushing perspective. So no matter how good Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle, 2nd round pick, and Jeff Simmons playing all pro caliber ball, like, was really doing the Lord's work in the middle on a putrid team. So he should be back this week, but I don't care. Woody Marks to the moon this week.
Yeah. And on the other side, I mean, tough defense, Titans coming off a bye. I mean, I'm not really interested in playing either Titan running back if I don't have to, right?
I've got some just groundbreaking analysis here for the Tennessee backfield and how I feel about it.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, Spears has had a little bit of a breakout here and there, and getting in an end zone. And that's really what it's going to take here to, I think, have anything that you're super excited about from either running back. So I'm all set with any sort of Titans running back this week if I don't need to, right? Unless I absolutely have to plug Tony Pollard in, I'm leaving him off.
I mean, it's to the point where I would consider playing Blake Corum over both of them. And I know that that's not correct process, but that's the way that I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'd roll out some of those Kansas City players and Bill and Tracy or Singletary or the Cardinals running backs all kind of over him, the Manung guys, but he's pretty low, ranked 38th right now for us. So that's going to do it for the running backs. Let's jump over to the wide receivers. What do you say, Chev?
Let's get after it.